What's up, guys? Welcome back to Inside Edge with Ricky and Ryan.
What up, y'all? We are back after the 2 week holiday break, with between work and the holidays with family and whatnot. We had to take a little break, but now that we're getting back into our normal schedules, we're getting back to the podcast.
Yes, sir. As you can see today, there's not a ton to talk about in sports right now, primarily just football. So we're going to be going over the national championship last night, and we're going to recap the NFL games from last week as well as the NFL matchups coming into this week.
Yeah. So last week, the first game of the weekend was the Titans and Chiefs game, correct?
Yes.
That was the first game. And as we saw, the Chiefs blew an 18-point lead.
Yes, so I was actually only able to watch the first half of this game, and first half was 100% Chiefs. I had no doubt in my mind that they're going to win this game. Alex Smith looked amazing. Kareem Hunt was running the ball well. Travis Kelce is doing whatever he wanted to. Titans could not shut them down. I think they put up all 21 points in the first half. I think it was 21-7 or something at half.
Yeah, it was 21-3 at half.
21-3.
And so the big difference in that was the second half, Travis Kelce was out. Travis Kelce got destroyed and got knocked out of the game. And with that, apparently went the rest of their offense. And it shows how big of a key player he is for them, which is sad to see that one player like that can take out an electric offense like that to put up 21 in the first half of a playoff game. But also, I think it comes down to a little Andy Reid coaching strategy.
Yes. Travis Kelce got knocked out. If any of you guys watched the game, you saw that he tried to get up. I mean, the first time he tried to get up, he kind of fell over, and then his teammate had to hold him up. Like, the dude he either got knocked unconscious or he was just seeing stars for days because
Oh yeah, he was
100%
out.
concussion. It was a big hit though. I thought it was pretty clean. I heard a lot of things saying it was dirty, but I don't see anything wrong with that hit.
Yeah, no, it looked like shoulder pad to head for me. I mean, it wasn't an illegal hit. It is clean. Just destroyed him. I mean, flat out, that's going to happen every once in a while.
I mean, even if it was helmet to helmet in that situation, like Travis Kelce is what, like 6'3", 6'4", like 280 pounds probably. No tight end or running back, say someone of that size, even wide receiver, they're not gonna go down non-contact. Like
Yeah, no.
it's not a quarterback scrambling. He was on his way to the ground and the dude hit him. Like
Yep. And then the real reason this game got turned around so quickly was that uh, Marcus Mariota showed up to play in the second half, which he hasn't showed up to play all season. So that was very surprising. Yes, he was only 19 for 31 completion, which is only about 60% or so, which
it's not
is
the
about
worst.
it's about average in the NFL. The dude threw a touchdown to himself. That was the dagger in my point. I mean, they got the first touchdown to get him like, hey, we got a little life, and then he throws one to himself. I mean,
It was a
yeah,
crazy play too. I mean, it should not have happened.
yeah,
Um,
no,
he was rolling out to the left through, and I think it hit off of Justin Houston or one of their linebackers and bounced straight back to him, and he just walked into the end zone pretty much. Yeah, I definitely think that was a turning point, but I think the real turning point was Derrick Henry.
I,
Dude rushed 23 carries, 156 yards. Dude was unstoppable when they started feeding him the ball.
yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry, they did what you're supposed to do in the playoffs. They did the exact opposite of the Chiefs. When the Chiefs have an 18-point lead, you got to run the clock off. Kareem Hunt carried the ball 11 times that entire game.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. He should have carried it 11 times in the second half alone.
Oh yeah, 11 times in the fourth quarter. I mean, he still averaged 4 yards a carry, 3.8 yards per the carry. So they stopped him pretty well. The Titans are known for a good run defense, but not good enough not to give him the ball.
I think he had about. I think at halftime he had like 30 yards rushing. So like he only had 10 yards rushing in the second half. I don't know why
Well,
they wouldn't use him more.
they had a total of like 58 yards in the second half.
Insane.
Yeah.
With that offense, there's no excuse to not be able to put up points on a team like the Titans.
Yep. But
Even without Kelsey, they still have some pretty good receivers that are no names, and Tyreek Hill, you can do whatever you want with him. He's gonna get yards. Alex Smith, he only carry the ball 4 times. I mean, he's a pretty mobile quarterback. He could have probably picked up some first downs if he wanted to.
Yeah, no, I don't know. They put a spy in him most the second half, so it was a good game. I mean, the Titans came out to play. It'll be interesting to see what they do against the Patriots next week.
Yep. All right, moving on to the Saturday night game, which was the Falcons and Rams. Falcons beat the Rams 26-13.
This wasn't really a surprise to anyone, I don't think, except for the huge people that were all hyped up on the Rams, which I don't know where the hype really came from. I understand that they're on fire, but if you look against the teams that were like good this year they played against, they haven't really had really competitive wins. They got destroyed a few weeks ago by the Vikings. They played in one of the weaker divisions in the league this year, counting the Seahawks being pretty decent but very inconsistent. And the Falcons are playing in the best division in football, so
Yeah, Falcons have been playing good teams all year. I know I picked the Falcons to win this game just because of experience. Jared Goff, first time in the playoffs. He did okay. I mean, he threw for 260 yards and a touchdown. Didn't turn over the ball, but he did go 24 for 45, which isn't a winning stat line when it comes to completions.
yeah, no, their main issue here was the same issue as we're going to see throughout the day of talking about football. Todd Gurley, 7.2 yards a carry, only touched the ball 14 times. They weren't down enough to not run the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Todd Gurley, I think he had like 50 of those yards in the second half too. He was going well. And Robert Woods had 142 yards receiving. They just couldn't get in the end zone. I don't even like. There was multiple times where they were inside their own 50, or not their own 50, the Falcons 50, and they just couldn't get it done. Like they had ended up punting or kicking a field goal.
Going into halftime, it was a 13-10 game. 13-10. So that's a 3-point game. Falcons come out, kick a field goal, I'm pretty sure, on the first opening drive. Makes it a 6-point game. There is no reason why you're not running the ball. They didn't score 1 point in the third quarter, the Falcons. And if Todd Gurley's getting 7 yards a pop, I mean, something's wrong there.
Yeah, why are you not giving the ball to your running backs? If you look at the box score, just next to each other, you think the Rams would won this game by 20 points. Matt Ryan had 218 yards and a touchdown. He went 21 for 30, which is good. But then, like, Devontae Freeman had 66 yards. Tevin Coleman had 40. Nothing crazy.
Goff threw the ball 45 times.
Yeah.
End of story. You don't do that. Rookie quarterback, first playoff game ever, 45 pass attempts. No.
And then they didn't use Todd Gurley even on the receiving end either. He only had 4 receptions for 10 yards. Like, he had 700 yards receiving in the regular season.
Yep. So that's that game. We weren't really too surprised. I think the Falcons are going to go in and beat the Eagles next week, though.
We'll get into that a little bit later. First game Sunday, Bills Jaguars. I think this game went how I thought it would. Very, very low scoring. Not very good offenses on either side.
Yeah, I mean, the Jaguars have a decent offense, but they're mainly off big plays, and the Buffalo Bills are actually a pretty good defense. So when you can score like 10 points a game and win 9 games, the Bills obviously have a good defense. So I'm not surprised to see them hold up with the Jaguars defense.
Yeah, I thought the only way the Bills would have had a chance of winning this game is just by Tyrod Taylor controlling the game like he usually does and having their defense hold the Jags to 10 points or less, which they did. They just couldn't score. The Jaguars defense reigned supreme like I think everyone thought they would.
Only 2 turnovers, too, for the Bills, which was pretty good against that defense.
And one came from Peterman, which, I mean, I don't really count that because he came in in the last drive.
Yeah, so realistically, they just punted all game, both teams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Bortles turned over the ball at all. So,
I mean, the Bills did what they could. They ran the ball a lot with McCoy. He had 19 carries. Maybe they could have gave it to him a little bit more. He also had 6 receptions. So, I mean, it was the shady show that they just couldn't score. Maybe I'd like to see him use Zay Jones a little more. He only had 2 receptions. He has been kind of their stud receiver.
Yeah, but they just kept trying to go for the underneath pass, play it safe, because they were in the game. That's why they didn't go to the receivers, because they don't trust Tyrod Taylor.
It was another game where if you look at the box score, you would think the game would probably end up a little bit differently. Blake Bortles had more rushing yards than passing yards. He had 88 rushing yards, 87 passing yards.
Yeah.
He he did what he had to do, though. Honestly, he was keeping those drives alive on his feet. I haven't seen him run that much all year, but every time he did, it seemed like he was picking up a first down.
Basically, most boring game of the playoffs right there, but it's over with, so we're good.
Yeah.
On
Uh,
to the next one, the best game of the weekend right here.
eh.
Panthers and Saints. How is it not the best game of the weekend?
Chiefs and Titans. Titans come back and win by 1.
That's just bad coaching on my part. This game was literally came down to the last drive. This high offense got good defense actually for how many yards they gave up. They both had turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, they did what the Panthers did what every analyst said they should do, which was shut down the run game. Between Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, they only had 55 yards. Kamara went 10 carries for 23, and Ingram went 9 for 22. They did exactly what they should have done, which is shut down the run. I think they had over 20 rushing touchdowns this year, or like 18 rushing touchdowns this year. But the dude named Drew Brees showed up. Best game of the year by far from him. He did have 1 interception, but he went 23 for 33 at 376 yards, highest on the year, and 2 touchdowns.
Yep, to me, this game came down to home field advantage, and the Saints had home field advantage. So, I mean, Drew Brees is so good in the dome that he threw a pick, but I don't know. He's arguably, to me, he's the best quarterback in the league. I mean, the dude has almost every passing record. Give it a year or two, because it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon, especially if they're not going to make him throw it as much and still put up these crazy numbers. If he's the man.
Yeah, he definitely has an edge over the Panthers for some reason. Panthers seem to do really well against everyone except for him. Coming into this week, I think he had over 400. He had played them twice. He had 4 touchdowns, no interception, and over 400 yards passing against them. So he has something going against the Panthers that other people don't. Michael Thomas had a huge week. I think Michael Thomas is going to be the reason why they beat the Eagles, unless their running game shows up.
They play the Vikings.
Vikings, my bad. I think they could beat the Vikings if Michael Thomas can create separation. Dude went 8 receptions, 131 yards. The dude has been on fire the last few weeks. He's gotten better and better each week.
Yeah, no. It just comes down to Cam Newton. Cam Newton had the game in his hands, and people are giving the refs a lot of crap about that intentional grounding. That is not intentional grounding. That is 100%. He literally was getting tackled and he threw the ball back. And some people are saying that, oh my God, let him play the game, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's going to be a 10-second runoff anyways. Even if they sack him there, it's a 10-second runoff.
Yeah, they're not going to get back on the line.
They had no timeouts. It probably actually saved them time because it's going to take more than 10 seconds to get back to the line.
Yeah.
So
one more thing on Michael Thomas. I actually didn't know this. Through 2 seasons, he has the most receptions ever.
Yeah, dude's an absolute stud out of Ohio State. I mean,
196 receptions in 2 seasons.
It's nice that you have Drew Brees and you have no one else around you. I mean, last year they had Brandon Cooks, I guess, but Brandon Cooks was very underused in that offense. He's a stud. He goes inside. He goes outside.
I mean, him and Ted Ginn are pretty much the same receiver. Throw it deep.
Yep, exactly. I mean, they're finally using Brandon Cooks a little more up in Patriot territory, but, I mean, for the Saints, he didn't do anything. Michael Thomas, I was surprised. I haven't watched a whole ton of the Saints. I've watched some of it. Focus more on the run game, obviously, because Kamara and them have been going off this year. But Thomas goes in the middle and gets a little dirty. He was taking some hits.
Yeah, he can. He looks a little skinny, but he's pretty strong. It seems like he can take a hit. But yeah, I mean, Cam Newton didn't play that bad. He threw for 350 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He didn't play bad. He just had the chance to win the game at the end, and he didn't. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That was a bad IQ play on him at the end. He could have scrambled out.
I actually didn't know this. Christian McCaffrey had over 100 yards receiving. That's impressive. I think they should. I mean, I don't think Christian McCaffrey is going to be a running back in this league, a successful one, running the ball. I think they should just move him to slot. Like, McCaffrey went 6 rushes for 16 yards. I mean, that's a waste of time pretty much. But when you can go 6 receptions, 101 yards. Dude catches like a receiver. Dude runs routes like a receiver. It's insane.
A couple of big things on this. also on this game going into next week, the Saints lost their left guard, Andrews Pete, from our high school. He's our friend.
Yep.
He broke his fibula, which is sad to see happen to him, but the Vikings are very happy about that. And then their left tackle went out that game too. He's questionable for next week. So if they're missing their whole left side of the line, it's going to be a tough week for them.
Yeah. Who comes in from the left side? Everson Griffin? I think so.
I mean, they switch it up and whatnot, but good luck.
Yeah.
Andrews is going to have to stop Lindahl Joseph. So without him being there, good luck against the best defensive tackle in the league.
Yep. All right. That pretty much ends the games from this last week. So we can talk about the division series now, the division round.
Falcons, Eagles.
Yep. Falcons, Eagles. I think it's going to be a good game. Yes, Nick Foles is playing. They don't have Carson Wentz, but Eagles are extremely good at home. Their defense is no joke either. They've been holding teams all year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough, tough go around for them. It's gonna be a shootout. I'm trying to look at the weather right now. Weather looks like it's gonna be fine, so it doesn't look like it's a high of 50 at game time. It looks like, and it doesn't look like there's gonna be any weather. So that just helps the Falcons out, honestly. The better the weather, the better for the Falcons. Philadelphia is a tough place to go into, but it's got a 2:00 game. Yeah, good weather. I see the Falcons taking this one.
Yeah. I got the Falcons as well. I think it's gonna be a very close game though. Eagles are, like I said, they're good at home. I think it's gonna be another Matt Ryan performance like this week where he throws like one touchdown, throws for like 200 yards. He really hasn't broken out too much this year. I think Nick Foles comes in and does the same thing. I think he throws for like 200 yards with like a touchdown or two. I think it's come down to who can run the ball better offensively, and then if the Falcons defense shows up, they can beat anyone. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. I think both teams will score 20 points max. I think it'll be like 15 to. It's gonna be a lot of field goals again. Matt Bryant's gonna win MVP again for the game. Dude kicked 5 field goals last week.
Yeah, I see it. I see it being a low scoring game. I mean, Eagles have a really good defense. Falcons, they're gonna, as they showed last week, they can show up against the best offense in the league. So, I see Falcons winning in a close one. But if Nick Foles shows up, you never know.
And the other Saturday game we got from the AFC this time is Titans Patriots.
This one's gonna be a little spicy, I think.
I don't know.
New England's a 13-point favorite, probably the biggest spread that you can really get in the playoffs. But I mean, it's gonna be raining and 50 degrees, so it's a night game. I'm gonna guess that it might even get lower than 50 degrees. There could be snow by the end of the game, knowing on how that East Coast has been. I mean, Titans play how they played in the fourth quarter and just the whole second half. I mean, I could see some crazy shit happen.
I think this game all 100% comes down to if the Patriots defense shows up or not. They've had some really good games. They've had some really bad games. I don't think Tom Brady's going to have any issues throwing in bad weather. He's done it too many times and proven that he's good at it.
Tom Brady's not the issue I'm thinking about. Obviously, Tom Brady's going to be there. What I say is the Titans are going to have to show up. Titans are going to have to put up 20 points.
Oh, easily. I think the Patriots might score 30 against the Titans defense. The defense is okay. I mean, they don't have anyone to guard Gronk, though.
Hey, Tom Brady's been the second worst quarterback in the league in December. So.
Oh, I agree. He's been on a slump, but
he's trying to put his work in, as you know. He was the first one to show up yesterday to practice. So.
Yeah, we'll see.
He knows what's going on. All that drama going on there right now, though. I would not be surprised for an upset. You hear first, people.
We'll see. I think the last time they matched up, I can't remember what year it was. It was an AFC Championship, and the Patriots beat them barely. But I got Patriots winning.
Yeah,
pretty handily in my opinion.
Tough place to play, especially in.
How Mariota's been this year. I don't see him showing up. He might.
Who knows?
He just doesn't have chemistry with his receivers. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree. Patriots most likely going to win, but could be an upset if a bunch of things go the wrong way.
That'll be the biggest upset if it happens. See if they
Oh,
can do it 2 weeks in
yeah.
a row. Sunday morning we got Jaguars versus Steelers. This game is gonna be good. The Jaguars beat them early in the year. They have proved that they can shut down their high-powered offense. Um, that D line is disgusting for Jacksonville. Calais Campbell leading the way. They get to Big Ben and can shut down Le'Veon. It's gonna be a low-scoring game.
Yeah. Jaguars picked off Big Ben 5 times earlier in the year and took it to him. I think the final score was 30 something to 10 or something. I'll find that exactly right now. But yeah, it's going to be a good game. A lot of people are writing off the Jaguars because they're saying Blake Bortles doesn't have it, but they already whooped up on them. They beat them 30-9. That was 1 point off.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are writing them off.
We'll see. I still got Steelers winning this game just because, I mean, I don't put any faith in Blake Bortles to beat a good team in the playoffs. They just played the worst team and barely won. I would like to see Blake Bortles keep running. It looks like Antonio Brown is going to play. We don't know whether that means he's going to be good or not.
I saw a video of him running routes. He broke a dude's ankle. He looks fine.
I'm sure he's going to be okay.
Where they're in Pittsburgh.
Not going to be the best. That's for sure.
Not going to be the best weather. It's going to be kind of cold, so it might be a little harder on his leg since what did he partially tore his calf muscle?
Yeah, it was a calf injury. I got Steelers winning still. I think Le'Veon Bell shows up this week. Whether they have to dump it off to him or not, I think he's going to carry the team.
I'm actually going to go on the Jaguars side here. I think Jaguars are pulling it off. Blake Bortles has the skill set for playoffs where he runs the ball enough. And then I think Fournette's going to freaking put the team on his back this week. And they didn't have the big play last week because Keelan Cole didn't get the ball once. I don't see him not doing that again. So I see Jalen Ramsey taking one of the house also. I see Jaguars win 17-10.
I got Steelers. I don't know. I just don't have faith in Blake Bortles. I mean, since the Steelers have been missing Ryan Shazier, their defense hasn't been the same, but I think playoff experience is going to pay off here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Last game of the divisional round is the Saints and Vikings. This is going to be a great game.
Yeah. First off, I'm going to throw this out here right now. Saints right now, 4-4 on the year on the road. That is bad. They have 5 losses on the year. 4 of them on the road. It's their typical Saints. They're not good on the road. The Vikings, what's their home record? 7-1. Home field advantage is a lot, especially in the playoffs. And we saw it last week with the Saints. They barely snuck out a win against a inconsistent Carolina team, which the Carolina played pretty well. And I really don't see the Saints beating the Vikings.
See, my thing with home field advantage, I think the Vikings win. I think the Vikings squeak it out, but I don't think home field advantage is going to be the reason. I think Drew Brees has played too much to let home field advantage. He's going to be playing in a dome.
He's had that issue his whole career, though, since he's been with the Saints.
I mean, they're good at home, the Saints. Obviously, they love playing at home, but they're going to be in a dome. They're not going to be in bad weather.
It's not about the weather, though. It's the fact that you can't hear in the other dome. When they're giving their plays out, they can't hear shit.
Drew Brees is an all-time leading passer. He's not going to have a problem.
I see him throwing 2 picks.
The problem is him not going to have protection.
He's throwing 2 picks, at least.
And I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think both teams score under 20. If the Vikings score more than 20, I'll be shocked.
Shocked?
The Saints' defense isn't that great. I mean, it's good. It's proven to be pretty good. Like they give up a lot of yards, but they give up primarily field goals, I feel like. Case Keenum, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, as you guys know, we're both Viking fans, and I'll be rooting for the Vikes, but Case Keenum, he's had some easy matchups in his starts. He hasn't really played too many great teams. They did beat the Saints.
And Case Keenum beat the Falcons, and he beat the Rams. So put up 24 on the Rams, who people like to say have the best defense in the league. I'd like to remind you guys that the Vikings Yes, I'm kind of biased.
Rick is extremely biased.
I watch a lot of the Vikings. They are the hardest hitting defense in the league. People got to remember how much actually, like, if you guys watched the last weekend of football, people were hitting. And that's how the Vikings always play. So I don't think it's going to be a change of pace for them.
We'll see. I can easily see this game going both ways. I think it just if which Case Keenum shows up is going to decide on their offense. I watched him against the Panthers, and he looked like a rookie quarterback that didn't know what he was doing.
That's their best case scenario for the Saints, though. And they barely won that game, the Panthers.
But then if they can run the ball and Latavius Murray can get going, I think the Vikings could take it to them. If they can get going, on their defense, the Vikings are going to take it to them.
Yeah, I think Jerick McKinnon might show up a lot in this game.
I mean, dump passes are definitely going to be a factor. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have a feeling that just from like a standpoint of this happens in sports a lot. One team does one thing really good. Like the Saints have the 2 running backs. I feel like the Vikings might go out there and try to push their 2 running backs and show that they're better.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a fun one to watch. That's my most excited game, just because both teams are. I think the winner of this game goes to the Super Bowl. The Falcons might be able to sneak in. If this Falcons end up being the Eagles, I think there will also be a good matchup against one of these winners. But I think Saints and Vikings are the favorite for me to make it to the Super Bowl.
I'm going to pull up one thing for you right quick. First time they played, Drew Brees went 27 for 37 for 291 yards and a touchdown. So that's pretty typical for the Vikings defense to give up a lot of yards, but they don't. Not a lot of yards, but they just don't give up points. They don't turn over the ball and they don't give up points. It's weird. It's weird how they work. It's going to be something. I'm super excited. So now let's move on to the national championship game yesterday. Or should we just talk about the playoff in general?
Well, I want to add one last thing.
Okay.
The only thing I can see the Saints really having, like, the Saints win the quarterback matchup. That's the only thing I can see. Their run games are very similar. Murray's a power back. Ingram's a power back. Kamara's the receiver, and so is McKinnon. But they do have that edge with Drew Brees and his veteranness.
But the Vikings defense is a lot better.
Vikings defense has the edge. So usually defense wins championships. So I'm going to take the Vikings, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, I see the Vikings winning by 10 or more. Just because of defense. They've been on fire.
All right, let's do our last topic of the day, which is last night. The Alabama Crimson Tide took out the Georgia Bulldogs, winning in overtime 26-23.
Yeah, that was wait, what was you were talking about the Clemson game?
No,
or are you talking about the
Alabama Crimson Tide beat the Georgia Bulldogs 26-23.
Sorry, my
Hello?
bad. I was reading something. That's my bad. Yeah, last night's game was insane because I said something about the playoff earlier, but we're jumping right into it.
Yeah, it was insane. So what happened was Georgia took it to them in the first half. 13-0 going into halftime. Jake Fromm was doing his thing.
Jake Fromm, that dude.
He's a true freshman. Georgia's quarterback, if you don't know him. He's pretty good. I don't think he's like elite yet, but for a freshman, he's very good. He ended up going 16 for 32, 232, and a touchdown. He did throw 2 interceptions, but that's
one off the hands and the other one off the lineman, I think.
Yeah, off the helmet. Pretty typical, I'd say, going against a defense like Alabama, but still being able to throw for mid 200 yards is pretty impressive.
Was supposed to go to Alabama too until Kirby left.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you didn't know that, Kirby Smart, the coach for Georgia, was a coach for Alabama. Yep. And so when he left, Fromm went with him. And then I think the big thing we got to talk about here, the move that Saban made to take out his guy, Jalen Hurts, the obvious leader of this team, took him out of the game, put in the new guy, was the number one rated run option or pass option, whatever they call it, out of high school last year, out of Hawaii, who magically ended up in an Alabama uniform when he grew up wanting to go to USC. He somehow talked to Saban, and his magic recruiting fingers snapped, and they got him. Hasn't played anything but garbage time this year. Comes in, first drive of the second half, throws a touchdown. Game changes from there. Hello? Hello?
Oops. I was muted. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead here. Yeah, Jalen Hurts was 25-2 as a starter at Alabama. Extremely bold move on Saban. I mean, he did look really bad. He only had 21 yards passing. He did have 50 yards rushing, but 3 for 8 for 21 yards in the first half of a national championship game. Obviously, he made the right move, bringing in. I'm gonna try to pronounce it. It's kind of tough. His first name's Tua. I know that. But
Tagovailoa.
Yeah, Tago Viola or something like that. He was a lefty. He's kind of small. He's got to be roughly 6 foot or shorter. Dude's got a cannon, but dude can move as well. Like you said, that pass option guy out of high school. He ended up going 14 for 24, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception in the second half.
And then he had that huge play on that first drive where he got hit and 2 times somehow scrambled around and dove for a first down. That was actually absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, this guy, people are going to be comparing him to Russell Wilson. Everyone's saying that he looks exactly like Russell Wilson did as a freshman at NC State. I mean, except for he throws with his left arm, obviously. Dude's got a cannon. I don't know how he was tearing up Georgia so well. His arm, I guess it was like his just footwork and everything was so promising and looked apparently really good. But I don't know. His ball looked a little wobbly when he was throwing it, but he got a cannon.
Yeah, dude looked solid. He just did what he had to do to win. He ran the ball 12 times. He only had 27 yards, but he was just running around and making plays, breaking the defensive coverages.
It's that 18-year-old mentality right there. I can do whatever I want.
So they came from a 13-point deficit to win by 3 in overtime, and this is with that missed field goal. Andy Papanastos, or whatever his name is, the kicker for Alabama. First time this year. He has not missed a field goal under 30 yards this entire year, or under 40 yards, I can't remember.
Under 40.
Under 40. He missed 2. He missed one in the first half. And then he had a chance to win the game. It was I want to say like a 34-yard field goal. Like basically a chip shot. I know it's college, but these guys are good. And
Pressure got to him.
Good snap, good hold. Dude yanked it to bring it into overtime.
Yeah, it was something. I mean, that game was crazy. But realistically, it comes down to exactly what we were talking about earlier. Bad coaching on Kirby Smart. He kept giving him the ball. So they have their 2 running backs over there that are obviously their 2 guys, Michelle and Chubbs. Chubbs wasn't getting it done last night. So Michelle, he had 14 carries for 98 yards. That's 7 yards a pop, if you can do the math. He was having a good game, and there's no reason why they did not give him the ball more. He was just putting his foot in the ground, one cut, and he was making people miss. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what Kirby Smart was seeing. I guess it was too obvious for him to even put him in. I don't know. It's too obvious. It was just right in front of him and didn't freaking see it.
Yeah, he was a big part of the offense in the first half. He was running them over. The big thing for me, I thought, which was I didn't get to finish my thing on kicking. In overtime, Georgia had their backs up against the wall, and Rodrigo Blankenship, the goofy kicker with the goggles.
The dude
he is good, man. He's going to the NFL. This dude hit a 51-yarder in overtime.
Dude's
right down the middle. Like, man, he scored 9 of their points. He scored. No, it wasn't all. He scored one field goal in the first half and the second half. But man, that dude is solid. I know I've seen him before. I've seen him on highlights, but that dude came up. He showed up. He wanted to win that game. I thought they were going to win after they hit that 51-yarder. He hit that 51-yarder, then Alabama got the ball. They sacked Tua for like a loss of 16. 2nd and 26 on like the 50, and he threw a touchdown. It was crazy. I didn't see that coming at all. I thought Georgia had it wrapped up.
Yeah, no. I think everyone thought that the game was over, but you never know. And apparently, Alabama, I think I heard the stat today that they have, what was it? Shoot. Oh, here it is. 37 Under Armour All-Americans on their team.
That's crazy.
37 Under Armour All-Americans on the team. The last four, all the teams in college football playoff, total of 32 on all four of their teams, or all three of their teams.
That's insane.
It's recruiting. I mean, it's insane how somehow he snaps his fingers and everyone goes there.
Well, they've won 5 out of the last 9, I think they said now.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
They win. I just lost my train of thought.
What are you thinking about?
There was something with this game. Shit.
Whatever.
Yeah, I can't
Move on to
remember.
the next one. It was a great game, and let's see where they go next year. I mean, they're gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do with their quarterbacks. It's hard to sit Hurts, but that guy went in and won a national championship for him, obviously
Yeah.
showing that he has the promise and the cannon for an arm. I don't know. Maybe those do like the good old Florida back in the day where they had that. I forget what the guy's name was, but it was when Tim Tebow was a freshman. He had him at quarterback, and then they used Tim Tebow, and they used the good old 2 quarterback set.
Oh, they might do it. I could easily see him do that.
A lot of people were saying that if they didn't use him last night, that he was going to transfer, so that would have been the end of that. But I really wonder what's going to happen now. I'm guessing one of them's going to end up transferring.
Yeah,
But-
I definitely would. I mean, that Tua dude seems like he's got a career ahead of him. And Jalen Hurts, I don't see him as an NFL quarterback, but as a 25-2 record, he definitely deserves to be a starter in college somewhere.
Yeah, and I really think that he deserves a shout out for that dude. Looked like one of the best teammates. No one, if I was me, I would have spent. I hope this dude freaking buries himself in the ground 6 times in a row, and I got to go back in the game. This dude was out there cheering for his teammate like he was a #1 fan. That was awesome to see. You don't see that kind of stuff from, especially when you're the superstar on the team. Everyone, you can't name half the people on Alabama's team because all they talk about is Jalen Hurts all the time. This dude, that was great to see. I love that.
Yeah, it was super cool. Easy to see these two being in the national championship again.
Yeah.
At least in the top 4. They both
Yeah, I
got
see-
young quarterbacks and good
I
defenses.
see Georgia. If I were to pick next year, I say Georgia's taking it. Fromm's going to have another year under his belt, and they have the #1 recruiting class as of right now after the early signing day.
Yep, it should be good. That's all we got this week. Baseball was pretty dry. It was just a bunch of
Yeah.
minor league transactions, pretty much. Nothing really too huge. Golf's doing a couple of small tournaments, but the focus is football right now. Probably will remain football for the next week or two. Hopefully we can get some off-season stuff going for baseball again this week. Hope to see some of those big free agents moving, but from now, I think that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll be back next week. If you like our videos, please like and subscribe.
Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.